Good morning and welcome to the B2B Power Exchange Thought Leadership Series. I'm your host for today, Chris Pareja. I'm joined by Maria Marsala, and she's going to be talking about the roadmap to success and that it takes a one-page business plan. But before we get started with that, I'd like to just introduce you to B2B Power Exchange for those of you who are not familiar with our organization. These seminars are free and they're open to the public, and they're part of our Thought Leadership Series. But the majority of our services and meetings revolve around helping to develop more business, find it, to deliver it, to close it more effectively. And we do this typically for salespeople, consultants, and entrepreneurs who are interacting with director level or higher contacts in the organizations they serve. We do this through a combination of breakfast meetings, online meetings, which are decision maker specific, industry specific, or geography specific, and through our online community. We have that available for you at b2bpowerexchange.net, and that's also where you can find recordings of this and other seminars after this presentation is complete. You can also access that at b2bpowerexchange.com in the videos section. At this point, though, I'm excited to introduce Maria. She has been in businesses for quite a while now. She's actually the founder of Elevating Your Business. She's a former Fortune 300 executive, business strategist, author, and speaker. She started her Wall Street career at the tender age of 17, working for such well-respected firms as Merrill Lynch, Dean Witter Reynolds, and Bear Stearns. Maria's fierce determination and keen business insights led her to becoming a bond trader at a time when women executives were a rare commodity. Since 1998, Maria's worked with CEOs and presidents addressing the challenges of growing 6- and 7-figure companies, helping her clients streamline and automate their operations so they can earn more, work less, and enjoy a higher quality life. And at this point, she's going to be enlightening us about the roadmap to success, as I mentioned earlier, that it takes a one-page business plan. Maria?
Thank you, Chris. I'm proud to be here on this actual sunny morning in Seattle, Washington. So it's a nice morning. I thought I'd start off this presentation with a couple of poll questions, and Chris has them. So we'll put them up because I'd like to get a better feel for who is here right now. So the first poll question. Okay. Are you going to launch that?
They're on the. Yes, that's actually on the screen, and it's who are you? You have the options of business owner, consultant, sales executive, or guests of the above. And it looks like a good chunk of the audience has voted. I'm going to give it just a second longer. And at this point, we have enough that I will go ahead and close the poll, and we can share the results. So on the call today, I don't know, Maria, if you're able to see these, but 55% are business owners, 14% are consultants, 27% are sales executives, and 5% are guests of the above.
Okay. Great. And how about we try the next?
Did you want to move on to the next poll then, Maria?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. And the next poll is, how many years have you been in your role? The options are 0 to 5 years, 6 to 11, 12 to 20, 20 or more. And I'll give you all a second longer to, or maybe another 10 or 15 seconds to vote. And for those who have voted on that one, 59% have been in their role for 0 to 5 years, 6 to 11 have been there 5% of the time, 27% have been there for 12 to 20 years, and 9% have been in their role more than 20 years.
Wow, pretty cool. Did we have one more question, or was that were those the two?
We do have one more question.
Okay.
And that one is, have you created a list of current goals and an action plan? Your answers are yes or no. No, yeah, but.
I thought about that one.
So I'll give it just a second longer. And at this point, it looks as if a total of 61% have developed a current list of goals and an action plan, and 39% have not.
Okay. Well,
Hopefully,
congratulations,
Maria, that'll help.
everybody who has. What I'm hopefully going to leave those of you who have a goals list with is maybe a different format for creating those goals, a format that will take you and help you take your goals a lot quicker in a shorter amount of time. And just to give you a quick overview, I came across the one-page business plan process. I'm a certified consultant, but I came across the process at a time when I was running a business that wasn't doing well. In fact, it was doing terribly. And I came across the class and said to myself, what could you really accomplish if you were going to create a plan on one page? But I also, at that point, was actually teaching classes where I was teaching people to create plans on 20 to 50 pages, and I knew for a small business owner like me, that plan was way too big, and I didn't need to go after money from a bank or anything. And so I said, well, the worst thing that's going to happen if I go to this one-page business plan class is I'm going to meet other business owners. And I went and I took the class and left at the end of the day. It was an all-day class. Left at the end of the day with all these pieces of paper. But what I realized was that the pieces of paper had on it pretty much what I had been doing. That what I had been doing had been really good ways to market. And it dawned on me that maybe I was supposed to be doing something else. When I went into business, I was doing life coaching. And what that something else ended up being over a course of thinking about it over the weekend was that I should be doing business coaching because that's my entire background. And I changed my career around quite a bit and started to niche. And it was really, really helpful a few years later when the process was created to have certified consultants. I jumped at the chance. And one of the reasons I jumped at the chance was because I had been using the one-page business plan book, and there are 4 different books. Some of you are consultants. There's a book especially for consultants. Those of you who are in sales can also use the consultant business. Those of you who own your own business, you could either use the consultant book or the creative entrepreneur book that is available. And I was doing with my clients, half the group I was using the business plan book with and the process that I had learned and the pieces that I had added to it. And half of my clients I was just doing a regular normal coaching with whatever they, basically came to the call with. And what I found, of course, was that those people who had created goals, who had created action plans, and who were monitoring what they were doing were doubling and tripling their income at rates that the other group was not. The other group was doing well. They were increasing their income, but not at the rate that the people doing the process were doing. So I got to a point where I don't even work with a client anymore unless they're willing to create their plan. So all of you came here today to discover a 5-part comprehensive planning process, to learn the 5 simple questions that every plan needs to answer, and to leave with a draft of your vision statement. So one of the things I'd like all of you to do is to definitely take out a piece of paper and a pencil and pen, because when it comes to the vision statement piece, you're going to need those implements.
Maria, if I can cut in for just a moment, it sounds that some people are having audio issues. They need the volume to be a little bit higher. But also, if those of you who are having audio challenges, if you're listening through your speakers on your computer, and if your speakers are not configured correctly there, it may be easier for you to call in on the phone line, and the volume may increase. Sorry about that, Maria. You can go ahead.
You want to see? I'm going to talk a little bit, and you let me know if it's any better. So
Okay, great. Thanks.
if you didn't think that a plan can be put on one page, here's a very small plan, and it is on one page. Okay, and if you take a look at what I have here, there's a vision statement that's about 1 sentence long. There's a mission statement that's about 2 to 8 words. And then there are 9 objectives, 9 strategies, and 9 plans. Now, we do have some people who have been in business from 0 to 5 years. So if you've been in business 0 to 1 year, then what I would recommend for you is that when you create your plan, you only have 4 objectives, 4 strategies, and 4 action plans. Part of that is because your business is going to change as you go along, but another piece is that even if you create your plan right now and you do the 9, I bet you that piece is going to change quite a bit as you work on your new business. So it takes as much energy to wish as it takes to plan. That's one of my favorite quotes. Because a lot of us do a lot of wishing in our businesses and in our careers. Okay. So here's 6 reasons to create a plan. The most important one is that you want to kick negative energy to the curb. You know, a lot of us, including me, I've done this, complain about not having enough time, not being able to focus, not having enough accountability in our lives. One-page business plan and the process does help with all of those. You want to save yourself stress, time, energy, and money. That's what the acronym SYSTEM stands for. Save yourself stress, time, energy, and money. You want to discover what's preventing you from reaching your professional goals. You want to create actionable solutions, and you want to track your process. Creating goals is great. Creating how you're going to put those goals into action and then tracking your goals is even better. And here's the last of the reasons. You'll answer the 5 questions that lead to greater profits and productivity. And a big piece of that is because you're really focused on what's important in your business. You'll set yourself apart from your competition in 8 words. Those are the 8 words that are in the mission statement. And you'll have a brief, consistent, easy way to communicate your business with other people. I bet everybody on this call has gone to a networking event and somebody's explained what it is they do, and after 10 minutes you still can't figure out what it is they do. Well, when you get really focused, you can explain your business very briefly. In fact, so briefly that people, if you're sitting at a table, what I've had happen is that people say, well, you know, you still have another minute to explain what you do. And then somebody will always say, but she said everything she needed to say, huh? You know, so you'll impress people. So here's some uses for the business plan. If you're a CEO or president, if you're a director or a board member, nonprofits or for-profits, I've used this plan with. It's a real good summary of a traditional plan. In fact, I have had angel investors sponsor one-page business plan events that I've done because they have said to me, if only somebody came to me and gave me a one-page plan and we could have a discussion about that, we could go on from there, but that most people come to them and really can't explain what it is they do in a really short, fast way. You can create a plan for an executive can create a plan for their department, or they can create a plan for themselves. I've created plans with entire teams or groups of staff in a company. You can create it for a profit center. One of the cool things is that once you learn how to this process, and once you do it, If you need to hire a new employee, you can go through this same process and create a job description. Or I even had a client ask me, how do you know when it's time to hire an employee and for how many hours? And my response was, create a plan and let's see how far you can get on this plan. If you can create a whole plan, with 9 objectives, 9 action plans, and 9 strategies, then most likely you need somebody full-time. If you can create a plan and have half of that, maybe you need a person half-time. And the person did actually hire somebody for a few hours, and then a year later the job is now a full-time job. And I've had clients create personal plans and family plans using the same methodology and just changing some words. So here's the good news. Everyone on this call has a plan. The problem is it's in your head where it's not doing you any good. So every time you need to make a decision, the thought goes to your head and does a whole bunch of boomeranging up there where it's not really doing you any good. So we've got to get you to write your plan. So here are the 5 parts of the one-page business plan. Now I outline this a little bit different than what's in any of the books, but it's a vision and mission, and then your objectives, your strategies, and action plans. They all work together, and I'll show you that a little bit more as we go along. And each item asks a question. So the vision asks, what are you building? The mission asks, why does the business exist? And that's from the client's viewpoint. Then the marketing piece, you've got the results you're going to measure. A lot of you already have that down pat. 61% of you have goals already down pat. The strategies are how are you going to build it? And the action plan, what's the work to be done? And I'll go through these again individually. Is there anyone that has any questions up till now?
Maria,
So,
I don't know if you were able to hear me. There are no questions yet at this point.
okay, great. So we just kind of looked at the 5 parts of the one-page business plan. Now we're going to look at the 5 steps to the business plan section of the plan. Okay. So the first thing you need to do when you're creating a one-page business plan is that you need to assess where you are right now. So you take a look at every area of your business and determine, a ranking for it. And if anyone would like a copy of the ranking at the end, I'm going to give you a website and you can request that. I have a special assessment I call the business checkup, and it lists every piece of a business or a department, and then you can decide where your business fits in. The other assessment I like to do with clients is the SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats assessment, so that you can determine where you are in business right at this moment or where you are in your career right at this moment. Once you've got the assessment down pat, you need to create your vision, which we're going to do on the call today. You need also, there's a piece of the vision statement where it asks, who is your ideal clients? If there's one really important piece to a marketing plan, it's knowing who your ideal clients are. Not every client that you're going to deal with, but the ideal, the person who's going to pay you the most amount of money in the least amount of time. They're going to give you the least amount of aggravation. They're going to value what you do. Those are the clients that you want to be in the middle of. Those are the meetings that you want to be in. Those are the places you want to be in to get new clients. but you want to shoot for your ideal. And then the fourth part of the section would be the benefit statement, which is a mission statement. So here's some questions to think about when you're creating your vision statement. What are you building? What's your business going to look like a year from now? And what do you want it to look like when you leave the company? When I do an all-day business plan or I work with clients, I have them actually create 3 vision statements. I have them create a vision for a year from now. I have them create an exit strategy. And then I have them pick somewhere in between that they want to create a vision for. So a 1 year, an exit strategy, and somewhere in between. I've been told that just creating that process helps people make better decisions. Because some of us are tree people, you know, we see what's in front of us. Some of us are forest people. And to run a successful business, you really need to be both people. So if you're second-guessing the decisions that you make in your business, it could be that you are a forest person and you need to have the tree in front of you, or you're a tree person and you need to have the forest in front of you. So consider creating those 3 vision statements. Today we're going to create one for a year. So I want you to take out a piece of paper and write down the numbers 1 to 8 going down. And then I want you not to pay attention to the next screen, but just, I'm going to tell you what to put in that number 1 to 8 area. Okay. So in the first box, I want you to write the number 1. Next to number 2, write the name of your company. Next to number 3, I want you to write one adjective, one word adjective that you would love to be able to use to describe your business a year from now. So one word adjective. The next number is, where is your business? Where are your clients? You know, are they in a specific area of town? Are they in a specific state? You know, get as specific as you can. And remember, this is a 1-year plan. So if you're new to business and you want to go globally, you know, maybe you go locally for a year or 6 months at least until you start growing. The next line is, what type of company do you have? What's the general type? So we have some consultants. We might have some management consultants in there. We might have some strategic consultants in there. We've got some business owners on the call. What's the general classification of your business? The next line is, what are the specific products and services that you are providing? And that could be, you know, 5, 6, 7 words, maybe more, depending on what you've got. The next line is, who are your ideal clients? Now, of course, you're not going to be able to put a page-long ideal client profile into your vision statement, but you want to have a general idea of who those clients are. Because somebody reading your vision statement should be able to have a really good idea about where you want your company to be a year from now and who to send you as clients. And then the number 8 is, you know, what's your sales number? Or do you use a net or a gross number when you're doing your calculations. And then all you have to do is to plug those 8 answers into this vision statement template, and you've got a complete sentence that an English teacher would not agree is a sentence, but it's a sentence that really lets people know what your vision for your company is, and it lets you know where your company is going. It answers the question, what are you building? Any questions on vision?
There are no questions so far.
Okay. So we'll go to the mission statement. Mission statement is 2 words, 2 to 8 words. It's about the client. When we created the vision, we created a vision based on you and where you want to go with your company. But the mission statement is about the client. What are the benefits that working with you are going to give them? You know, what is the pain or the problem that you solve? So in my vision statement, I have that I'm a coach, a strategic coach and consultant, and a trainer. In my mission statement, my clients come to me to substantially increase their income and work few hours. They basically want to work smarter. And so that information would be in my vision statement. So here's just a list of some of the basic needs that everybody's business or career, you know, whatever it is you're selling, takes care of in another human being. They basically needs fall under these categories. You know, they're either about money, they're about professional development, they're about well-being, they're about relationships in general, or they're about peace of mind. And some of you may be like me, where I deal with the money, you know, and the peace of mind, and some of these others hopefully happen from that. But you may be reaching more than one need in a client, and that's good too. And that's the 2 pieces that I call the business part of this business plan, is the vision and the mission statement. Now we're going to get into the marketing piece. So there are 3 pieces in regards to the marketing piece: objectives, strategies, and action plans. And all pieces must be linked. And I kind of, you know, I said that a little bit earlier, and I'll show you a little bit more about that. Here's another good saying: a good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. You know, get what's in your head down on paper where it could do you some good, and then you can make the changes that you need to make to it. So with your marketing plan, the big question that you're asking yourself with a marketing plan is, you know, what are you going to be celebrating a year from now? You know, is it more money? Is the big thing you're going to be celebrating, you know, new employees? Is it going to be a website? What is it that you're going to be celebrating? And objectives fall into, you know, have 3 measurable pieces to them. Number 1, they're smart. You know, making enough money is not an objective; it's a dream. Making $100,000 a year net is a goal. But they need to contain numbers, and they need to contain dates. And they need to be specific, measurable, attainable, results-oriented, or time-framed. And unfortunately, I can't give you who came up with that acronym because I have checked and could not find it. But I remember learning that back in the 70s when I was trading. So it's been around for a long time, and it works. So the second piece of knowing that you're working with an objective is that something needs to go up or something needs to go down. You're either going to have more of something or less of something. So if you made $100,000 last year, maybe you want to make $125,000 this year. Now, less of something. I've had clients who wanted their expenses to be lower by $10,000 by a certain date. I've also had clients who wanted their warehouse space to be lower, the warehouse space they were renting to be lower. So you may have some things in your objectives that are not about increasing something, instead they're about decreasing something. And the third piece about your objectives is that they need to be balanced. Most of the times when my clients create objectives, they're all about money. And the bottom line is that objectives are all about money. But you need to look at some other things. You need to look at the processes that you have in your, that may need some doing. You need to look at the clients. So a client objective might look like increase clients from 20 to 30 by first quarter of the year, or it might be increase the repeat clients from X percent to X percent by a certain date. The training would be, you want to cross-train, you want to add more people to your company, but you want to have a balanced scorecard and not balanced, 3, 2, 2, 2, whatever the numbers are. But when you look at your objectives, you want them not to all be about the money. You want to think about the clients, you want to think about the processes you may need, and you're going to think about training that you need also. And once you create an objective, then you're going to monitor it, and that's what this top piece of this is about. Putting last year's figures, what you forecast, budget, and actual. And this is actually a picture of an objective that's on a system called the one-page business plan performance management. It's actually an online system where you put the numbers in, and then it will give you the charts on the bottom that you can change around the bar charts. Okay, that's what I have on objectives. Strategies are next. Strategies answer the question, how are you going to grow and manage your business? That's the business that you just said you're going to do in your objectives. Strategies start out kind of broad and are followed by 3 specific alternatives. So an example of a strategy would be use technology to do blank, blank, and blank. So it starts out broad, use technology, and then it goes into the specific ways you're going to do that, the blank, the blank, the blank. Oh, going the wrong way here. Okay. And then the last part of this 5-part process is the action plans. And again, you want your action plans to be smart. Sometimes they don't necessarily include numbers, but they'll always include a date. So an action plan that won't include numbers might look like, let's see, create website by September of 2009. You want to describe the specific actions that need to take place. And let me just say that an action plan is not not a to-do list. An action plan for this process is about big actions that you need to take. So let me go back to the website. So the website, creating the website for September of '09 would be the big action plan. Then what you would want to do in a spreadsheet or using the online performance management system, or however you decide to do it, is to take that action plan, and let's just use a piece of paper for now, put the action plan on the top of the page, and then start putting all your to-dos underneath the action plan. And then every to-do should have a date and be prioritized. So the action plan is really, if you're using a project management system, is the project to be completed, and then underneath you would have all the to-dos and monitor them. And your action plans have to be related to the strategies and objectives. So there can't be any dangling action plan that you know, when you do it, is not going to help you to reach the objectives that you set. Just like there can't be a strategy unless that strategy goes back to at least one objective. Everything has to be linked, and that's another really good piece of this. If you're creating your plan and all of a sudden you're in your strategies and you realize that, you know, something's missing from your vision statement, then you go and you fix your vision statement to capture what it needs to capture. And here's one way to take a look at your action plans, is to actually put them into quarters. And you want to prioritize what you're doing. You can also do this linear by, you know, writing the action plans across the lines and not use the wheel. And here's kind of showing you, using the online performance management system, what the to-do list would look like for a specific action plan. And of course, what you're trying to shoot for are getting all blue lines. That'll show you how complete your project is. And here's how it all works. All of it works together. You know, your objectives, you know, give you quantity. You know, they show you the results that you want to reach. Your strategies set the direction on how you're going to reach those objectives. The action plan defines the work to be done. And the continual monitoring, and you know, my clients send me their monitoring sheet every Friday, where they update their website process every Friday. The monitoring plan provides you almost instant feedback. If something that you put in these strategies is not working, you'll find out really quick if you monitor. Real important. Once you create a plan, using this process, it's in a Word document, you want to find fault with your plan. You want to show it to other people and have them find fault with it. You know, my clients create their plans and then they send it to me, and my job is to rip it apart. Make sure that, you know, all the pieces are congruent. Make sure that they're really reaching their ideal client. Make sure that their goals are not too low. I find that more people lower their expectations when they create this plan than raise them. And so we've covered the 5 parts of the plan. You've learned the 5 simple questions every business and marketing plan needs to answer. Well, you really need to answer it on the plan. And you're leaving with a draft of your vision statement today. Here's where you can get the class notes and the templates if you'd like to subscribe to my newsletter. That's all the stuff that you get. If you want to unsubscribe, it's real easy to do so. So you can check that out. And here's where you can get more information about the plan. And I'm here to take any questions.
The first question is, Maria, where do people have the most challenges developing the early stage parts of their one-page business plan?
Putting down numbers in their vision statement. And the other piece I would have to say is probably second. I find that people either have a problem with their objectives or they have a problem with the strategies. One or the other.
Okay, can you expand on that a little bit about the specifics of those challenges?
They can either come up with the numbers and the dates for the objectives, but then they don't know how they're going to reach those objectives. Or they say to me, can I do the strategies first because I can figure out what it is I think I want to do, but I don't know much about the number piece.
Okay. And so just follow one for me directly. Is there a path to getting to that number piece more effectively? Because I know even with my own clients, I often find that people will just pull a number out of the air. It's not based on anything, and then they get discouraged if they can't hit it.
Right. And so what I tell people is come up with a number, and then we'll take a look at the strategies you come up with and see if you're going to be able to reach those numbers. You know, part of the process will help you, going through this process, will help you to determine if your numbers are too high or too low.
Okay. There was a specific question about your basic client's needs slide. What was number 4 listed?
All right, let's see if I can. Love, relationships, and sex.
Okay.
And then time and peace of mind.
Okay. There was another question earlier in the presentation as to if you could repeat the components of a SWOT analysis.
Strength. What you do when you do a SWOT analysis, the easiest way is to take out a piece of paper and basically put a line down the center and then a line across. So it almost looks like a cross. And then in each quadrant, describe different things. So S is strengths, W is weaknesses, O is opportunities, and T is threats.
Okay. And it looks like, unless there are any last-minute questions, that takes care of the questions for now. Did you want to leave us with any thoughts of wisdom before we wrap up, Maria?
Well, I can tell you from my own experience that this plan takes a maximum of getting it, quote, perfect, which it really never is, but getting it really high level well, between 6.5 and 12 hours maximum, depending on how long you've been in business and what your business skills are. That's less than 2 days worth of work. And what I have found is that the time that you spend planning, let's say for every hour you spend planning, you save yourself 10 hours worth of time in the long run. That in and of itself is worth sitting down and doing this plan.
So it is an investment as opposed to a distraction.
Oh, big investment. My clients have their plan on their desk. They walk around with their plan. They've stopped second guessing their decisions. Most of the times I find that they actually have to, especially the first year, they've got to change the numbers in their plan a couple of times, change them upward, because just getting focused has helped them that much. And then the other really cool piece, and there's a lot of consultants and business owners on this call, is that you'll find yourself saying no a lot more with conviction, because you're going to be going after the things that are going to help you to achieve your goals, the goals that you've outlined in this plan.
Okay, great. And so I know that there are probably some specific questions. We did have one late entry about definitions of the ideal client and getting refinement for those. So should people email you those direct questions at 123@elevatingyourbusiness.com?
Yeah, you can email me there, and I will do my best to answer your questions. I have a whole process actually for creating an ideal client profile, 6 exercises for people to do. Because if you think about it, most of the larger companies that we deal with, in fact, all the larger companies we deal with in our lives, have an ideal client. And all their products and all their services are geared towards that ideal client. And the description I gave you, which is, your ideal client is the person who's going to pay you the most amount of money in the least amount of time, is just a tiny piece of that information. There's a lot of other stuff that you need to know about your clients.
Right. Okay, great. Well, Maria, we thank you for sharing your insight with us today. And I also want to just thank everyone in the audience. We worked through our technical difficulties and were able to get things back on track, so that was great. So just in closing, if you would like to watch the replay of this presentation, you can do that at b2bpowerexchange.com in the video section. That should be posted later today. And also, if you have questions for Maria directly, or if you want to get a copy of her slides, B2B does not send slides out on behalf of the presenters. Those would be a question that you would directly refer to them. But thank you all for participating. If you have other questions, you can reach out to us at info@b2bpowerexchange.com or 877-7B, the number 2B, POW, and we'll get those questions addressed for you. Thanks again for your participation. We look forward to seeing you in person or online sometime soon. Thanks again.